Welcome to Edmonton, Alberta, where the Flames take on the Oilers. And the Battle of Alberta isn't necessarily what it used to be, but tonight it could mean something big as the Flames desperately need these 2 points, and the Oilers, led by Ben Scrivens, trying to be the spoilers. The Oilers 4-1-1 in their last 6 home games, but have yet to win against the Flames since December 27, 2013. The Oilers begin a 3-game homestand. The Flames ending a 5. Johnson on the other side of the anthem. Enjoy.
Hockey fans, would you please rise, remove your hats, and join Samantha King with the singing of the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, there is no place like home or the road for the Calgary Flames. They have 21 wins at home, 21 wins on the road. They're going for their 22nd regulation road victory of the season tonight. If they do that, they will equal the franchise high. The last time they won 22 on the road was the year they won the Stanley Cup. Kari Ramo will get the start. Career against Edmonton, 2-1-0. No shutouts, 2.35 goals against average. Ben Scrivens at the other end, 6 career appearances against Calgary, 0-3-1, 3.55 goals against average. Talked to Bob Hartley this morning and asked him about the team's tremendous road record. He said, it's simple. We play exactly the same. At home, on the road, we prepare the same. It doesn't affect us. We go out there and execute the game plan, and he is confident wherever his team plays that they are going to be sharp. And meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers, well, things have gotten a little better since Todd Nelson took over as head coach, but still, it's been a tough year for the team. It's a big, big game for the Calgary Flames. Mike Johnson down between the benches. I've got the bird's eye view. Cassie Campbell also with us. The Battle of Alberta, not what it once was, but still a bit of a luster to this game. And it's Klefbom with the puck for the Oilers. He snaps it up and ahead. Puck drop back, sipped in wide of the net by Yakupov. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins not in the lineup for the Oilers, has a sore foot. Apparently took a puck off his foot in the last game, foot or ankle, and it is ballooned up on him, so he is not in the lineup.
Well, you look at the lineup that Edmonton is dressing, and the Calgary Flames have to take advantage. No Nugent-Hopkins, lots of defense out.
Puck comes back, Ollie trying to fire it in. No margin for error this time of the year for the Calgary Flames. They are in a dogfight for a playoff spot.
Kari Ramo down early, and that was the reason for the whistle. Early rush here. Purcell drops it back for Yakupov, and I think that little right there, I see him flex his left leg coming up out of that save. It's his left knee right there. Look at him. Groin, knee, whatever it is. And Jonas Hiller is getting the nod right away.
Wow.
Pretty innocent looking play, but when it goes on a goalie, and Ramos having trouble putting weight on it, and he needs help to get off the ice. And
my goodness, 58 seconds into the game.
look at him. He's hobbled. Can't put any weight on that left leg whatsoever. The good thing for the Calgary Flames that Jonas Hiller, certainly more than a capable 1B. They've had a rotation going all year long. And also when it happens this early in the season.
Mike, what do you think here? Like, looking at it again.
That's his groin or his hamstring. He just stretches it the wrong way, and he's probably not quite loose. But when it happens this close to the start of the game, Jonas Hiller hasn't completely checked out of the game mentally. And when you're a goalie and you sit a period and a half, 2 periods, then of course you just start watching. You're not really focused, but Hiller just went through warm-up. He's still physically warm, and so he'll be able to get in there and dial in quickly because the Flames need a good goaltending performance in this game for sure.
Well, and he's played well over his career
Great
against
numbers.
Edmonton. Yeah, he's in 24 appearances, 16-4-1 with a couple of shutouts and a pristine 1.98 goals against average. So not a bad guy to have coming in off the bench under these circumstances.
And we've seen some strange situations this year. Of course, the one in Florida comes to mind. That emergency goaltender required. And you wonder if they'll be putting out an APB for somebody in the Edmonton area, just in case.
This is Taylor Hall, who, as Cassie mentioned off the top of the show, playing center. He played some center last year, but has not this season. Hall pushing it up to Pouliot. And, of course, he's moved into that position, in case you're just joining us, because Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is out of the lineup. Didn't skate this morning.
Blocked a shot a few games ago against Colorado, and his foot has been getting progressively bigger every day, and so finally became too much, could not go tonight.
And then over the line, puck's going to be knocked up. Fraser going for the foot, and then rebound was right there for Eberle. And a nice stop by Hiller. Welcome to the game. And he was sharp. Back the other way. Weidman got it out. Puck fired in, scores!
Mason.
Joe Coburn gets the goal. He loves to play against the Oilers.
Save at one end, goes right back the other way, and Jonas Hiller, welcome to the game, tipped by Fraser, rebound as well, and then right back the other way, 3-on-2. And Mason Raymond slows down, good center drive by Backlund, good give and go by Weidman, a shot that is saved, pinballs all over the place. And Joe Coburn, who could use a goal. One in his last 30, gets one now. Going to the net, driving hard, and he'll take it. And they're going to review this one to make sure it was not kicked in. I don't think it appeared to be. Good feed by Weidman jumping up. He's been doing all year long. That point, if this goal counts, would tie his career high in points with 50, but Coburn right there on top of the crease. And it looks like it hit his thigh before it even got down towards his foot. And I assume this one would count.
This goal is being reviewed up in the NHL Situation Room, and it's presented by Samsung.
After further review, the call on the ice stand, good goal.
That's the start that Calgary was looking for. And look at this thing bounce around. Off Scrivens, off Colborn's body, and then into the net. I don't think he ever got it with a stick, but drive to the net. You stay out high enough that the rebound has a chance to stay in front of you. Don't slide all the way past the post, and rewarded for the good habits with a fortunate bounce and the early lead.
I talked to him this morning, Mike, about the fact that he is the leading scorer for the Flames against the Oilers. That's his 4th goal this season against Edmonton, and he just smiled. His boyhood dream was to play for the Calgary Flames, and he says as a kid he used to dream of just getting a ticket to a Flames-Oilers game, and he gets so psyched up to play against us, and it shows. Puck rolls down to the side, comes out, picked up by Hudler, who will push it up ahead, trying to break through the middle there was Monahan. Push down in the corner, the Flames grab the lead, Coburn with the goal. Raymond and Weidman picking up assists at 1:59. Back the other way. Puck snapped in. Derek Roy was up there looking for it. Puck played back out by Hoodwin. Davidson played it up. Hiller moves it around to Russell. Shovels it up. Davidson again. Moves it up along the boards. Juris was there trying to gum up the works. Now Juris trying to tap it by Davidson. They lock horns. And Juris pushing it in. And he's called back to the bench. Flames on a change. Interesting start to this game. Flames losing starting goaltender Kari Ramo 58 seconds into the contest. He appeared to pull a groin. And then the Flames getting the early goal. Back they come 3-on-2. Jones shoots right on. Scriven stops that and hangs on.
Paul, you mentioned how much Joe Colborne loves to play against the Edmonton Oilers, and he's had tremendous success this year. 6 points this year against the Oilers, and continues it tonight getting the first one, but hasn't been the smoothest offensive season for him. He's gone long stretches without scoring goals, but it's a big game right down the stretch, and you'll take him any way you can get him when it's been a while. Whether it's off the thigh, off the shin, whatever. It counts, and he's happy to have it.
He's a Calgary kid, and his heroes growing up were McInnes, Dillon, Ewendyke. Those were the guys who he looked up to. And I say again, he especially got excited about games against the Edmonton Oilers, and he's just carried that over into his professional career, and it shows in the stats. His 7th point against the Oilers this year. Miller snipes one wide of the target. That's Andrew Miller firing it. It hops up along the boards. Backlund plays it in for Calgary. And that will be an icing call. 15:54 to go in this first period.
Joe Colborne's favorite players growing up, McInnes, Fleury, and those great Flame teams. Well, tonight, the Calgary Flames are trying to tie those late 80s teams of the Flames with the most road wins in a season, and that is a remarkable number that this team could tie those teams, which were some of the best in the league. And you notice last time they did 22, they won the Stanley Cup in '89 with the Flames.
Got by Colborne there and down. Scrivens out to park it. Schultz back to pick it up, and he will start off. Pass up ahead for Hall, snaking his way through center, gives chase after that puck. Weidman knocked it away. Klefbom moved it into the slot, rolls down. Pouliot after it, couldn't gain control. Eberle knocked down along the boards, now recovers, slid it there to Pouliot. Control it. Klefbom. Pursued by Hoodwin, played it back up. And zipped back in, but play whistle down.
Wednesday night, the enemy closes in on the team. Will they come out alive? X Company, the shocking season finale, Wednesday at 9 on CBC.
We talk about that Calgary road record, Mike. Only 6 NHL teams have more wins on the road than at home, and the Flames could become the 7th tonight if they pick up a victory.
And you wouldn't have associated this team with tremendous road successes. Juris and Gazdic are jousting off the face-off. This younger group, and not a lot of high-end talent, not a lot of depth beyond their forwards in the first line. They found a way, like they have all year long. They've just found a way.
Davidson gets it up along the boards. Rattling around, comes to Juris. Up there with Berlin. Played back out. Now this is Klinkhammer, and just got it in on goal, and Hiller will hang on to that.
And the challenge when you're late in the year, like the Edmonton Oilers are here, just a few games left, 1 week, and out of the playoffs, is to be engaged physically and emotionally. But Rob Klinkhammer doing a good job getting his team into it. Gazdic and Juris are running around. On the face-off, Klinkhammer finishes, and that's one way to drag your team into games. Teams that can be hard to get up for, regardless of who you're playing against at this time of the year.
Marincin whistled that one wide. He'll get another chance here. Fires a wrist shot down low to the corner. Sharp angle off the side. That was Hall who let it go. It'll come back to Hall. Looking around, being shadowed by Brody. Hall gets it up, Everly with it. Pouliot comes in to support, pokes it back along the boards. And kept in. Good job there. Everly dishes off. Puck fired off the outside of the post. Comes back out, and the rebound by Marincin didn't quite find its way towards the goal.
Flames got to be careful blowing the zone there. 2 in a row they gave from Taylor Hall, and that goal line extended, and one just missed short side, and one caught the post.
Russell, corkscrew there, was able to direct it over. Now it comes up ahead here to Backlund. Tried to work it across to the slot. He did, but one of his teammates able to knock it down. Yakupov tried to get it out in front and grabbed and held by Hiller. 13:28 to go in the first period. The Flames lead. Coburn with the goal.
Jonas Hiller thrust into this game a minute in when Kari Ramo went down with some sort of lower body injury, and he's been tested early, made a couple big saves prior to their goal, and then Taylor Hall, this one just off the outside of the net as he tries to go high short side, and then another one right here. Look at this, lower inside of the post and out the back door. So Kari Ramo, if he was not into the game when he entered it, he certainly is now.
We mentioned when he came in, Hiller, very good career numbers against Edmonton. 16 wins in 24 appearances against them. Also a couple of shutouts in there for good measure.
You don't want to pile on, but you start going through the league, and a lot of guys have good numbers against Edmonton.
Had to be said. Puck moved up. Roy couldn't get a stick on it. Here's Roy. Side trying to get it to him, turned over. Johnny Gaudreau starts back the other way. Gaudreau trying to come up. Russell skates back to pick it up. Wide. And offside. All right, Mike, I want to ask you honestly. Johnny Gaudreau, start of the year, you're watching him. You see his size. Did you think he would have as good a rookie season as he has? Did you think he would stick and be this dominant?
No. I mean, you knew he had something special to his game, but you didn't think he'd be the most dominant offensive rookie in the season. He started slowly. Training camp didn't go that well. There was talk about perhaps sending him down early on in the year, so you weren't sure if he'd be able to manage himself with the size and the pace of the game, but when you learn when you watch him is that he has elite skill, of course, and because he can't beat you with his speed or his strength, he beats you with his brain, and that's what the more you watch him, the more you realize he's elite level with his head.
Moving in, sniping a shot on goal there was Granlund coming in. Rebound in front, the net was open. Granlund and Juris both in the neighborhood. Starting back comes Hall. Right down the middle, ships his way in over the blue line. Hall fires a rising shot. That comes up off the glass and all the way back out. Hall has been a presence so far in this game. A couple of good chances from sharp angles, and then that nice spirited rush there. Puck tipped into the zone by Bowman. Scrivens gets it up and around. Moved up by Miller. Lander in over the blue line. Play was offside.
Flames realize the Oilers are short-handed, depleted on the blue line. So that means get pucks to the net, get people running around, and Marcus Granlund does just that. Rebound control, bounce in front, and now it's a free-for-all, and Granlund almost gets the rebound, pokes it in, and well, you mentioned it. Taylor Hall playing center now, skating more often, more open ice, and you give him open ice and a rush chance, good things will happen.
Has points in 7 of his last 8 games.
That was playing on the third line and doing it willingly, knowing the first 2 were going well.
Marincin kept it in. Lander here floats it across into the slot. Fraser couldn't knock it down. Shots on goal, 5-4 for the Oilers. Flames lead 1-0. Coburn scoring. 1:59 into the game. Actually went in off his leg. And the puck was gloved ahead. Play whistle down.
Always one of the main men in Edmonton, Taylor Hall, of course. He's had some injuries throughout his career, and part of that is because he plays as hard as he does, can be a little bit reckless, but when he is on and when he is healthy, he's a dynamite offensive winger. And last year, one of the very best in the NHL, and played a little bit of center in junior in Windsor. So it's not completely foreign to him, although he's been a winger for his entire NHL career.
Of those 105 goals that he scored, Mike, 70 of them have been at even strength. In over the line. Puck drop back. Hudler. Oh, good chance there. Pass comes up to Yakupov on the move. Tried to burrow his way to the corner and lost possession. Russell knocked it away from him. Comes back in. Yakupov trying to work it down in front. He's trying to get something sparked. Purcell to Roy. Looking. Gets it in front. Oh, big chance for Yakupov right there. Point blank. Puck moved up by Klefbom. Klefbom again. Will start up. Puck fired in. Klinkhammer racing up there after it. Gazdic moves it up. Klinkhammer here having to contend with Brody down in the corner. Puck is chipped in by Ollie to the corner. Hendricks. Klinkhammer looking. He's got some room and a bit of time. Comes out, shoots. Low shot, knocked away. Good job there by Klinkhammer. Davidson, long shot, just whistled it in. Hiller parks it there back of the net. Oilers on a change. Past the halfway point of this opening period. 1-0, Calgary leading. Coburn from Raymond and Weidman at 1:59. Brody moves it up, ricocheted up off the boards. He's going to head down. Jason climbing up there after it. Eberle moving in over the blue line. Eberle looking around, little dangle, looks towards the net, still with that puck. Back to Pouliot, top of the point. Dishes off, Klefbom fires a shot. That went off his skate. Right out there was Jones, tight to the shooter, and he got a piece of it. Puck knocked down, Eberle legs it in. Fired a wrist shot, deflected up off the glass. Hall up there looking for it. Puck all the way back to the line. Klefbom dishes off. Down low, Hall looking. Klefbom shoots, wrist shot, knocked down, rebound in front, comes out. Hall's up there after it. Gets it out, Eberle, not much time, not enough time. And the puck is moved out of harm's way.
Calgary will like where they are in this game, up 1-0, but they won't like the way it's gone so far. And Edmonton's had the better of the chances. And
puck turned over, Coburn with a shot.
they have to tighten up a little bit in their own end.
Scriven's got a piece of that. Coburn after it in the corner. Twisting and turning, looking for a little bit of room. Coburn still with that puck. Raymond up there in support, gets it back to the line. Puck chipped in and caught and held by Scrivens. Some good jump again from Coburn up there on the attack. He's already got one. The Flames lead on Hockey Night in Canada.
And welcome back to Edmonton. And Paul and Mike were talking about Johnny Gaudreau. He's had a tough week. He blocked a shot versus Dallas at a key moment in the game, a Tyler Seguin shot. Then he had a high stick in St. Louis. You could see that right to the chops pretty much. He had 3 points though in those two games, and all was erased because he was named NHL Rookie from March. He had 16 points in the month of March. His line mate Yuri Hudler had 23. Paul?
Yeah, so you take the rough with the smooth. Rough week physically, but smooth sailing.
Well, you know what? He bounced back. He had that little dip where he went 10, 15 games without scoring a goal, but when it matters most, when it's tightest and chippy, as Yuri Hudler and Keith Ollie do a little fencing as well, he's been just as effective, and that speaks volumes that even when the game gets physical and defensive, points get that much more important late in the year, he's fine.
And he is out there now with Monahan and Hudler. The big threesome for Calgary. Monahan back with the puck. Throws it up ahead. Gaudreau. Russell. Well, puck tapped away from Weidman. The turnover almost. Oilers have to come in and clear the zone, however. Weidman plays it back. Russell returns the favor. Weidman chops it up. Puck is lost in. Oilers will make a change. Calgary with the goal, but Edmonton holding the balance in play. Puck comes up to Everly. He comes in. Pouliot with him. Everly a little dizzy and dazzle and a backhand shot. And he didn't miss by much. Here's Everly. Gets it out in front of the net. Oh, it was sitting right there. Schultz had moved in. Klefbom tried to fire it through. That one off a leg. Schultz, another chance here in the wing. Moves it up. Here's Schultz. Klefbom. Wrist shot fired up. Knocked down. Backlund. Over to Brody. And he will ring it in down into Edmonton territory. Coburn taps it back into the corner. Chopped by Raymond. Coburn with it. Everly. He will loft it in deep. Fraser charging up there after it. Was held off the puck, played up along the boards, and actually popped out of play, and play is whistled down.
Jonas Hiller thought he was going to get a quiet night on the bench, watch his team trying to get a victory against the Edmonton Oilers, but 58 seconds in, Ramo goes down and Jonas Hiller is thrust into the game, and he's been terrific. Early on, a couple big saves, and through the rush goal to Joe Colburn, and the last one by Jordan Everly. Brady gets a glove on it there. Shots are 8-6 Oilers, and look at that Taylor Hall line. They have been dominant when they've been on the ice, puck in the offensive zone the whole time. They've stepped in and done exactly what you hope your goalie can do. Keep you in the game, even when you're not playing well, as they built a 1-0 lead.
Hiller, a two-time Olympian for Switzerland. Aronson fires it up towards the corner. He had a dominant career in the Swiss League before he ever set foot in the NHL with the Davos. I saw him play in the Spengler Cup a number of times. Puck dished up ahead by Musil. That's David Musil, son of Frantisek, or Frank Musil, as he became known when he was North Americanized, or when his name was. Miller comes in over the line. Musil making his NHL debut tonight. Miller chops it in. Hiller out to park it. Potter lays it down, and that will be an icing call on the Flames. 5:12 to go in the first period here. Let's check in with George Stroumboulopoulos.
All right, thank you very much, Paul. Los Angeles Kings and the Colorado Avalanche. We are about 13 or so into the first period, and there you go. Dwight King picks up his 12th, 1-0 LA Kings.
And 1-0 here as well. The Flames with the lead. Coburn scoring his 8th of the year. He has 4 of his 8 goals this season against Edmonton. So 5:12 to go in the first period. You are watching a Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
You can see hockey games like.
Well, to quote David Bowie, changes. If you go back to October 9th when Edmonton played Calgary, look at the defense. And look at it today. Only one commonality, and that is Schultz. And making his debut tonight, another new defenseman, David Musil. And they say, those who've seen them both play a lot, that they are similar. One thing that David has been working on in the American Hockey League, his skating, and it is still, I'm told, a work in progress. Gaudreau trying to chop it towards the front of the net. Russell. Hudler was looking for it. Schultz picks it up to Yakupov. This is Roy coming in. Roy drops it back. Yakupov shoots one in on goal, and Hiller will hold the fort.
Quick whistle, I think that's the right one, as Derek Roy was right on top of Jonas Hiller and pushing into him after he had the puck on his pads, but another rush chance. Derek Roy driving it wide, and nice little play to nail Yakupov, and the rebound right there for Derek Roy, which was fine. It was the push after he gets a piece of it there, and that's when it's blown down. Right, if you're the Oilers, keep putting pucks to the net, keep getting bodies there. They're doing what they want. scoring chances.
Here's Everly. Oh, slick little pass out in front, and he almost found Schultz, who jumped in from the blue line. Everly looking around. Hall is parked down in the corner. The puck will come to him now. This is Hall looking towards the front. Hall still with it. All the way back. Pouliot fired one right through the blue paint. Comes up along the boards, back up. Hall back of the net. Looking for it, looking for Everly. Couldn't get it to him that time. Raymond can't get it out. Klefbom plays it back in. Pouliot chips it up. Hall looking for it. Long shift for this big Edmonton threesome. I think they'll head to the bench when they get a chance. Puck rolls down, and they do exactly that. Pouliot plays it up ahead. Musil plays it in. Stajan moved it up on the wing. Russell on the move. Tried to fire one in. Comes all the way up around the boards. Weidman plays it across. Stajan trying to fire it in. Russell back there. Gets it in. Here's Weidman. Waits. Passes. Gets it back. Russell fires one, and that was blocked. Comes back out to Weidman. Couldn't keep it in. That was a nice block by Matt Fraser, wasn't it?
It was, and that's the kind of thing he's going to have to do to continue to earn his spot. Big-time goal scorer in the minors. 70 goals over 2 years in the Dallas Stars organization back in Texas, but he's going to be a third-line player, and that means blocking shots, being good defensively.
Marincin plays it up. Gazdin knocked away. Juris chips it back in. Marincin gets it up around the boards. Potter pinched up there, gets it back to the net. Juris beavering away, trying to get it loose. Ferland with it. Plays it back to the blue line. Trying to fire it in with Schlemko, got it in there. Puck rolls around, and Scrivens able to smother it and hang on.
Wednesday night, the enemy closes in on the team. Will they come out alive? X-Company, the shocking season finale, Wednesday at 9 on CBC. Paul?
Well, you mentioned how that top line in Edmonton is playing the offensive zone, and a lot of it's because their wingers are coming very high, and it's confusing the Flames. Look at them switching off, two guys to Taylor Hall. Whether it's Hall or whether it's Everly, that forward is rotating up to the top of the blue line, and the Flames are having trouble with their switches, communication, and closing the gap when those forwards get up around the blue line, allowing lots of possession in the offensive zone for that top line.
This is Purcell coming in. Roy charging to the net. Purcell moves in, wrist shot, and that is stopped and held by Hiller.
Kenny Purcell, who is loath to shoot the puck, he says it himself. He is a passer, and he finds himself in good spots all the time and looks to pass. Well, finally, he makes the right decision, almost because he has to. Nobody else is open, and he does have short side high open here as Jonas Hiller catches with his right hand, and so his glove is down, little crevice there, and Teddy Purcell challenges Jonas Hiller again.
And Hall, Pouliot, and Everly come right over the boards, back out there for Edmonton. So Todd Nelson getting them out there, strike while they are hot. Klefbom legged in from the blue line to keep it in. Hall looking for it in the corner, battling there with Brody. Hall comes away with it, moves to the front, gets it on the wrist shot, fired it. That was stopped in front and just chopped wide by Pouliot, who was foraging away right down in front of the goal. Pass comes all the way up. Backlund moving in. And Schultz took him out of the play. Here's Schultz. And he will set the floor and start off. Gets it up ahead to Lander. Back for Schultz. Pass up ahead.
That's offside.
Offside. Andrew Miller was lurking.
He knew it. Offside call, and Taylor Hall steps in for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on what has been one of the better lines in the league the last little while, but he looks very good, comfortable playing center, and when you're in the offensive zone, it doesn't really matter what position you're playing, you're just playing hockey. And he's been down there all night long, and that's good for the Oilers. Bad for the Flames.
Andrew Miller, who scored his first NHL goal on a penalty shot, and was looking for a penalty shot-like situation there. Lurking in the weeds, looking for that long stretch pass. Puck played in, Lander moving up after it. Boma chopping it man down, helping it down into the Edmonton zone. Davidson back to claim it. Long pass up ahead. Hendricks moving in on the forecheck. Pressure Brody. Puck comes up along the boards. It's Hoodler. Gets it out. Driving to the corner. Englund was given a bump and wasn't able to hold on to his balance. Back the other way quickly comes Hendricks. Gets it up ahead. Klinkhammer. And couldn't quite negotiate his way through the traffic. Puck shoveled in by Monahan. Puck picked up by Coburn. Gazdic moved it up there for Klinkhammer. Chips it up there. 18 seconds to go. Klinkhammer trying to make something happen late. Puck rolls back out. Schultz up there. Tapped it off. Klinkhammer just sort of chopped at it. Coburn will start back the other way. In over the blue line. Up towards the corner. Final few seconds. And that will do it for period number 1. Coming up in our first intermission, inside the game. Flames lead 1-0 in this game. After 1, shots on goal 11-8 for Edmonton. More to come in a moment.
Before we get you back to the rink in Edmonton, I know Flames fans want to know what's going on here. How about this? Landeskog throws one in front, and there's Ryan O'Reilly standing by for his 16th of the year, and the Colorado Avalanche tie the Kings in the second period. Take a look at your Budweiser red light scoreboard, and you can see that Arizona's got a lead over the San Jose Sharks 3-2. And that game is in the third. To Cassie we go now. Let her X all. Cass?
Thanks very much, George, and it's 1-0 for the Flames here after 1 period. And today, 11-year-old Marcus Zahedov, he's diagnosed in February with brain tumors and sadly left him legally blind. He's from Mississauga, Ontario's favorite team, though, the Edmonton Oilers. He got to meet Craig McTavish, Justin Schultz, Andrew Ference. He also spent some time with myself and Mike Johnson, as he wants to be a hockey TV analyst. Not sure he'll learn too much from us, but the best part was he got to interview Taylor Hall, who's his favorite player. His first question was about the loss to the LA Kings, but a great job by the Oilers and the Starlight Foundation. They've made a dream come true. Paul?
Thanks, Cass. Nice kid. Had a chance to shake his hand and say hello. He was the toast of the morning skate. This is Russell. Just underway in this second period. Paul Romanek, Mike Johnson right down between the benches. And Cassie Campbell-Pascal also with us. Puck will skip up there, out of play. Now, Mike, you look at a team like the Calgary Flames and suffering the terrible injury to, at the time, a guy who was a Norris Trophy candidate, Mark Giordano. Who steps up the most of these guys? Giordano accepted, of course. Who's really stepped into the breach?
I really think Dennis Wideman has done a very nice job stepping in. Added minutes. He's obviously tied a career high in points with 50 tonight, so he gets it done on the offensive zone as well. But a guy who's really learned and evolved throughout his career, played with a ton of confidence, almost a little dangerous early in his career, but now he's got it figured out. Can step in there and do some good things. And you can't replace Mark Giordano, but he can eat his minutes and still be pretty effective.
Going back to early February, February the 7th, he is third amongst NHL defensemen with 20 points. The only two guys producing better than Wideman are Carlson and Subban. So great and exclusive company there.
And he does it all. He's not a great skater. He's very economical in his movements. He can play lots of minutes, doesn't extend himself.
Here comes Brody in, and the play was offside.
That guy right there, TJ Brody, I think, who was the partner of Mark Giordano throughout the first half of the year, and the two of them combined were having an unbelievable year. He's going to have a career year statistically, but I think he has felt the absence of Mark Giordano for sure. He's paired up with Derek Englund, very different kind of player. They get different responsibilities, but his game, I think, probably not quite as good as it was with Giordano. That's to be expected. I think Wideman and Russell stepped in and been effective for a team that's trying to fight for playoffs.
Here's Eberle. Little wheel there along the boards as he turned away. Klefbom with it. Wristing that puck back in. Has to be said, despite Calgary getting the goal in that first period, Edmonton certainly had the better chances territorially.
They did. If you do the possession game there, 69%. Shot attempts 4. Controlling the puck, controlling the territory. And although that's how Calgary's played most of the year. They've defied the odds. When it comes to the advanced stats, for sure.
Could we mention that again?
At this point, only 4 games left. They certainly can do it the entire year.
11 10-goal scorers on the team.
And yet, the bottom line has been incredibly cold the last 10 games. They've been carried through the month of March by that very hot #1 line.
Gasta giving a bump there along the board. Schlemko got a good piece of him. And back the other way is Granlund, rabbiting down that right side, coming in, gets it right across there for Schlemko, who jumped up into the rush. Puck comes back out. Fairland plays it back in. Wow, what a great chance that was. It came across for Schlemko and just couldn't get laid on puck. Now here's Roy. Gets it back out in front. It rolls around. Yakupov trying to dig that puck loose. And the puck will come out. Marincin plays it back up. Actually turned it over. Shifting in. Monahan. High slot. Waits. Shoots. Knocked down by Scrivens with a nice save. Monahan right in his wheelhouse. Right there in the slot. Goodrow plays it across. Hoodler along the boards. Lost his balance and being watched by Marincin. Purcell. Out to center. Comes in over the line with Roy. Purcell had it swept off his stick. Goodrow just chipping it in and heading to the bench. Flames on a change. Puck getting past Boma. Rolls around in the slot. Here's Everly, not the guy you want to pick it up in the slot if you're the Flames. Everly tried to slide it down low. And a good active stick there from Russell. Broke it up. Boma wheeling and dealing back in. Fires a shot. Picked off by Scrivens.
Scrivens a nice grab there. He's been busy here in the second period. Calgary playing a little better. 2-on-1 develops. David Schlemko jumps in the rush and Marcus Granlund. But if you watch, look at the guys coming behind him. The easier pass is to Josh Juris for a one-timer. He tries to airmail it and gets it over top of Schlemko's stick. Next shift, there's the 30-goal scorer, Sean Monahan, the high-rising, old-school wrister. That's not a snapshot, that's a sliding wrister. And Ben Scrivens, who's been tested up high a lot tonight, makes another shoulder save.
Only 1 goal in this game. Backlund turned it over. Puck rolled down right in front. Oh, a great chance. Right on the doorstep for Miller. And he couldn't untangle himself. There's a shot that comes in and Hiller will hang on to it. But my goodness, Andrew Miller will not find himself with many better chances than the one he just had.
Broken play leaves Andrew Miller home alone in front of the net. A crazy bouncy puck. Miller standing in front, and he tries to pull it backhand, and he just doesn't pull it onto the net, trying to go so wide with it. Gets down to his knees and just rolls up and over top of his stick. He tries to get under the bar, and Jonas Hiller has to be active. Look at the edge work and the active feet of the goaltenders. It's amazing to see how much they're moving. Every little subtle move of the puck they're reacting to, and Andrew Miller, who got his first goal of his career just last week on a penalty shot, no less. Looking for his second as they do some repairs to Jonas Hiller's crease.
He was quite cool about that when we talked to him this morning, wasn't he? I asked him if he was nervous, and he was, you know.
I think he was playing it cool with us as well. And yes, he was playing well, and he's full of confidence, and that was a tremendous shot. But listen, you don't have an NHL goal. You have a penalty shot in a game situation, not a shootout. You're out there all by yourself, you're feeling nervous. He didn't look like it the way he performed, but he definitely was, legs were a little shaky on the way in, but the wrists were working just fine.
Not a lot of penalty shots, he told me. He recalls having 1 in the American Hockey League. Of course, guys have to take shootout shots, but again, he pointed out that's a little bit different. Monahan coming in. And snuffed out up there back of the goal. Here comes Roy, first to speed, moving in. Roy works it over. One-timer there for Purcell, and he just missed. Yakupov slides it across. Schultz at the line, not able to keep it in. Tried to push it in there. Goodrow with it, plays it back. Russell. Bounced away from Juris. Granlund plays it back.
You can hear Teddy Purcell coming off the ice, banging his stick against the boards. Missing that gold setup.
Russell chipped it up off the boards. Ferland dropped the shoulder, comes around, centered it out in front. It'll come all the way back. Schlemko shooting. That was batted down on the way through. Granlund trying to get to it. Juris up there pressuring as well, but pressure is withstood. Puck crisply up there to Boma, moving in. Boma rams his way towards the back of the net. Stasian up there as well. Klinkhammer. Long range wrist shot picked off by Hiller, and he decides to hang on.
And Edmonton with good chances. 2-on-1 develops from their own blue line as Derek Roy jumps past Chris Russell here. Johnny Gaudreau on the backtrack. He's a passer. Teddy Purcell opens up, and this looks like a pretty good pass, and Teddy Purcell just misses it. Nothing wrong with the pass, right where he wants it, in the wheelhouse, and Teddy Purcell just fires it wide.
Puck fired up, and a lively bounce off the boards. It was grabbed and held by Hiller. 13:56 to go in the second period. You are watching Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Welcome back to Edmonton, and I'm very fortunate to be sitting here with Marcus. We were talking about you earlier in the broadcast. You want to be a TV analyst, so here's your moment. What do you think of the game so far?
Well, I think it's a good game. I hope Hiller's going to give us a chance to try to score and tie the game and head to overtime.
What was it like to interview Taylor Hall?
Pretty nice. He's my favorite player, and yeah, I think it's good. He's going to score a goal tonight.
Now, is there something you want to say here?
No, I just want to send it back with Paul.
All right, Paul.
Well done, Marcus.
Everly up there after that. He should have called a couple of plays. Here's Everly in the corner. All the way out, top of the point, works it back.
Oh, that one stung. That one got Boma up high.
Yeah, Klefbom tried to fire it through, and Boma paying the price to cop the cliche, but he's back up, popped right back up, and he's okay. Puck played out. And now he will come to the bench, Boma will.
Didn't get him in the face, but up in his left arm somewhere.
Pouliot fell heavily there in front of the line. Now he's laid up with a chance and sniped that one just loose. Just loose of the mark. Puck comes up. Backlund moving in. Waits. Tried to fire it through. Another chance. Fires that one. That didn't sit for him on the second opportunity. Raymond after it. Couldn't win the puck that time. Steered in there by Davidson. Russell has to hustle it up around the boards. Here's Russell again. Just chips it up off the glass. Raymond trying to get the puck, but Lander knocked it away. Now a broken play. Backlund comes in, looks around. Backlund. Gaudreau going after it. Legs it into the corner. Gaudreau swooping in there. He's got that puck, tried to center it. And it was partially blocked there. Lander got in front of it, I believe. Kudler, Gaudreau, both trying to coax that puck loose. Monahan in there. He's got it now. Monahan got it back out. Russell tried to fire it in, partially blocked by Frazier. Blocked the shot and broke his stick. Arinchin plays it up. Roy ricochets it off the boards and in. Purcell couldn't chase it down. Puck played up. Monahan comes in. And just pokes it down to the corner and heads to the bench. Flames on a change. Roy moves it around back of the goal. One goal in this game scored at 1:59 of the first period. Coburn getting it for Calgary from Raymond and Weidman. And that's an icing call on the Flames. Let's check in with George Stroumboulopoulos.
Thanks very much, Paul. Okay, he scored the big goal that helped the Kings win the Stanley Cup last year. He hasn't scored since January the 17th, but take a look at this. Alec Martinez, another big rebounder. That's his 6th of the year. Kings are up on the Avs, 2-1.
1-0 here. Shots on goal 12-11 in favor of the Oilers. And that's another icing call on Calgary.
Congratulations to North Saanich, British Columbia. Kraft Hockeyville 2015. Thank you to all those who participated. Brought to you by Kraft Dinner.
One of the real unsung heroes for Calgary all year long with his physical play. Lance Boma leads him in hits, blocks like that. That stings. Always willing to throw his body in the way. Not to mention his 16 goals. Nobody saw that coming either.
9 multi-point games this year for Boma.
Yeah, I say he hasn't scored 20 goals since back in midget days. Not even in junior. He is on some kind of hot run this year for Calgary.
Schlemko. Played it back there for Brody. Plays it down the ice. And that's going to be another icing call on Calgary.
Monday night, Murdoch's on a hit list. Will this case be his last? Murdoch Mysteries season finale Monday at 8 on CBC.
Schlemko with it. And that skips up over the boards. Another play right down in front of you, Mike, by the looks of it.
Well, one good thing about the Edmonton Oilers is they were coming off a very poor game against the LA Kings, and they talked about how they had to be better, they had to respond. They certainly have done that. Maybe playing against their rival in Calgary is part of it, but they've come to play tonight, and they're not rolling over in this game, that's for sure.
Long wrist shot in his corner, played out. Lander will hustle back after it. Oilers having a little bit of trouble getting over the Calgary forecheck. Finally they get it up. Puck dished off by Lander. He heads in towards the net. Puck up around in back of the net. Miller up there after it. This is Miller. Chops it up to the corner. Frazier hunting for it. Here's Frazier. He'll chip it off the boards. Back around behind the net. Roy sneaking up there. And now the puck onto the stick of Raymond, and he motors down that right side. Throws it up around. Backlund jumping up there. Tried to center it. Coburn was in the area. Yakupov comes in. Dropped it nicely there for Roy. Cuts in. Roy centers it in front of the net. Purcell was parked right there. I don't think he saw it as it shifted right past him in front. Here's Schultz. Purcell steered it up in the wing. Roy's going for the net. Shot comes in. It was drifted in there by Klefbom. Nice, solid stop by Hiller. Hiller had to come on in relief 58 seconds into this game after Kari Ramo appeared to pull a hamstring or a groin very early. Here's Hall, and it comes out. Hall playing center tonight with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins out of the lineup. So Todd Nelson has had to shake his lines up a little bit, and Hall's looked just fine. Although he turns the puck over. Juris in there, and he's stopped. A substantial save from Scrivens. Juris walks and wires. Big stop.
Sometimes little gestures go a long way to show what kind of teammate a person is, and Ben Scrivens does just that. Taylor Hall has had a nice game so far. Turnover, gives up a breakaway. Now we know Ben Scrivens makes a nice save, so Taylor Hall stops. I'm sorry. And what Ben Scrivens says, don't worry about it. Keep playing, keep doing your thing, I got you. And just that little bit takes a bit of pressure off, edge off of even a player of the caliber of Taylor Hall, keeps his confidence high. And it'd be very easy for Ben Scrivens to be frustrated at those kind of turnovers. He's seen a lot of them this year, but still maintaining a positive relationship with his teammates. It's a nice touch.
Pass comes over for Yakupov. Yeah, right on cue. Oh yeah, Hall's really playing well tonight. Looking good. Oh, whoops.
That's what happens. You get a lot of confidence. You think you can do anything. low percentage play trying to stick handle a guy with nobody behind you at your own blue line.
There's Monahan. Saucers it out there for Russell. Wrist shot comes in and steady into the glove of Scrivens, who hangs onto it.
Paul, you mentioned Ben Scrivens showing some leadership there in that last play by Taylor Hall. It was a tough start against LA for Tyler Bunds, who came in relief of Ben Scrivens. He immediately went to the bench and he told his teammates, it's my bad, it's my bad. But watch Ben Scrivens, who was pulled in that game, trying to be positive. This morning, Ben Scrivens told Bunds a story about his second game in the league. He actually got pulled. Tyler Seguin was playing for Boston. He had a hat trick. He says every goaltender has bad moments. Paul?
Great advice from Scrivens and the fine role that he plays in this team. One of the nice guys in the NHL. Pleasure to talk to every time I'm lucky enough to have the occasion. Back to matters at hand. Puck moved towards the slot, knocked down. Everly claims it, trying to shift his way loose, but Station will start back up to the line, and he feathers it in for the Flames and heads to the bench. Oh, up there, Boma coming up with a big hit. Big hit, job done. He heads to the bench. Pass comes up. Everly just tips it down into Calgary territory. Russell will skate back to collect it from Hiller.
That's Boma's body has to be so sore after every game. He runs around like that every single night.
This is Backlund. Sharp angle shot, knocked down. Coburn looking for it. Backlund comes over. Puck comes back out. Wired in by Weidman and stopped and held by Scrivens.
What a save. And it was on who else? Joe Colburn, the Oiler killer. And Dennis Weidman pulls this puck to the middle of the ice. Now, he's not really shooting a score. He's putting this right on Colburn's stick. And a nice tip, better save by Ben Scrivens. Listen, we talked about Lance Boma. He is looking for one thing and one thing only. That's the hit. Puck optional. He fills in. Davidson rattles the glass and then gets off. And Lance Boma's a big guy, but not that large to be running around upwards of 260 hits on the year now. Top 5 in the league in that category.
Puck worked towards the goal, rolls around. But cleaned by Klinkhammer, and he starts back. Klinkhammer trying to connect with that puck in the corner. Marincin. Musil playing it up, playing in his first NHL game. It's David Musil, and he's beaten there. Puck rolled across in front of the net. That was Juris who came up and beat the rookie defenseman to the outside on that occasion.
We talked about foot speed being an issue. We thought right there as he couldn't quite close on Juris. Still had to turn.
Here's Gaudreau moving in, saves it, just tipped wide by Monahan, who was streaking it on the right side. Here's Gaudreau. Looking to move around, finds some room, gets it in front. Monahan a shot, big stop right there.
Oh, wow. Some pretty passing by that #1 line. Oh my goodness, Sean Monahan. Can't believe that one didn't get in behind Ben Scrivens. Starts with Johnny Gaudreau just buying time and space. And look at the give and go. It's the stick of Musil who takes a little bit off that shot. And then Scrivens pulls it back through his legs before getting the glove on it. And this is the earlier rush here by Johnny Gaudreau. Skates through Hendricks and then kicks it over to Monahan, who can't quite poke it over top of Scrivens. But you give that first line any open ice, they will make some nice plays.
Shots 8-2 for Calgary in this period. Frazier. Here's Lander. Miller. Looks towards the middle. And looks towards the blue line. He had Schultz back there. Gets it up for Frazier. Broken up there by Brody. And puck played down. And an icing call on the Flames.
Bob Hartley established very early how he was going to evaluate and break up the Flames season. 7-game segments, treat them like 7-game series. They lost just one. Now they lost it badly, 0-6-1. but they did not lose another one. Coming now to their 12th and final 7-game series. Only 5 games left, and for them to make the playoffs, they have to at least win this series 3-2, maybe get 4 wins, their last 4, to get in the playoffs.
Oh, just the misfire there by Klefbom, and the Flames fly back, and the net dislodged. And talk about your cliche, big chance coming off of a missed opportunity. Klefbom had a great chance, and then the Oilers broke right back and go to the net, they say. Not your own. Time now for a look at our Budweiser Red Light out-of-town scoreboard. Some big games, and you can pick off some of the big results for Canadian teams. That Winnipeg win, great one between Toronto and Boston. Mike, you talk about the Calgary Flames. It's interesting when you look back to earlier in the season. In December, they had a 7-game losing streak, 7 straight losses in regulation. It's remarkable that they've been able to recover from that as well as they have.
It is. Every time you think this team is going to hit the speed bump that seems inevitable with some of the wins they're getting, they find a way to come back and not let it linger. And they deserve credit. That 7-game sequence that you showed helps guys break it down, but also shows how consistent they've been.
Here comes Gaudreau. Hudler is with him. Gaudreau tried to fire it on goal as Weidman had jumped up into the rush. Lots of room for Purcell as he comes down the right side, moving in, shooting! Wrestled away by Hiller. Managed to get the shoulder on it. Oilers pressing for their first. Purcell gets it to Roy, shoots, that's stopped. And the rebound comes to Hiller, and he will hang on to it.
Monday night, Murdoch's on a hit list. Will this case be his last? Murdoch Mysteries season finale, Monday at 8 on CBC.
Dennis Weidman does a really good job jumping up, but sometimes that leads to 2-on-2. You've got Johnny Gaudreau playing back defense, so they back in, and then Purcell able to get a shot, deflects off Chris Russell's stick, but Minnesota there to cuff it down again, and he really has become a story in this game right now. The way he's played, stepping in to the injured Kari Ramo, and looks like it'll be Jonas Hiller's net for the duration of the regular season, the way Ramo will lift off this game.
Ramo leading 58 seconds into the game. Puck rolls around, Jones after it. He's stretched as the puck came towards him to move it away, and was not able to put any weight on his left leg when he left. He had to be helped off the ice. Here's Eberle moving in. Eberle. Hall is with him. Pouliot as well. Shot knocked away by Brody. And comes up there to Raymond. Moves it across. Jones. Backlund on the way. Backlund comes in, dishes off. Brody wired that one. Raymond up looking for him. Colbert. Hall. And bulldozing his way towards the line, but couldn't push it out. Puck comes down. This is Raymond. Colbert. Works it down. Raymond is out in front. Coburn after it again. Marincin trying to tie it up. That was a long shift for the defenders. They just get the puck out so they can make a change. Puck played down. Scrivens helps it up around the boards. Maryland played it back to Russell, who will start up. Snakes his way in over the blue line. Russell still with that puck. Juris was out in front. Maryland coming up after it. Granlund chipping it up. Juris after it, back to the net. Granlund just waiting, looking for that puck to pop loose. It didn't, at least not to him. Now it's knocked down. Granlund stick handle to the front of the net, and it was knocked off his stick. Puck drops down. Juris waiting, passing, get to the cross, score! Granlund gets it, and it's 2-0 Flames.
For all the roster intrigue, this line weren't sure if they're going to play, but they've been really good. Starts with a turnover here by Klefbom, picked off out of the air by Juris. That leads to a bit of a breakdown. Klefbom cleared again, Another turnover, and then nice pass from Juris. Granlund stays with it. He bobbles it and then gets it up and over Ben Scrivens. But good work from Josh Juris. He's had a breakaway, turned aside, quick feet, keep his feet moving, and then a nice pass underneath the defender. And Granlund hangs with it and gets it over top of the pad of Scrivens to get that all-important second goal for Calgary.
The Calgary goal scored by number 60.
So Granlund gets it. Juris will pick up an assist. Granlund 7th of the year at 17:56.
Bob Hartley keeps pulling the right strings though, because a lot of talk Sam Bennett was going to play tonight, and it would have likely have been Marcus Granlund coming out of the lineup. Bob Hartley chooses not to do that, and Granlund responds with a strong game and a goal.
Here comes Gaudreau, moving in. Kudler's up there with him. Monahan into the mix too. Monahan, nice move, waiting. Monahan centers it in front of the net. Gaudreau tried to pull it there to the backhand, and it just fell apart. Back the other way. Yakupov in over the line, trying to work it up there. It'll pop over to Purcell. And now Monahan will claim it, and the Flames will start back the other way. Kudler steering it down into that Edmonton zone, and he'll head to the bench. Calgary under change. Just under a minute to go here in period number 2. Flames with a goal in the first and another here in the second. Eberle shoots. That's knocked down by Hiller. He was with it all the way, Hiller was. Puck comes up. Jones chops at it. Russell. Long pass comes up. Boma. And that's going to be an icing call on the Flames. 40.8 seconds to go in the period.
Calgary with a nice opportunity, rush opportunity by this line again. Pass from Gaudreau. Look at Monahan dance here right around Derek Roy, and then tries to outweight Ben Scrivens, kick it to Gaudreau. And then from there, now with time, Chris Russell caught in deep. And look at this, getting your head down and dig it. Look at his face there. He's got to catch Yakupov. And he does just in time to turn a 2-on-1 into a 2-on-2. That is a great look and the kind of effort required. When you're caught, you have a little extra in your step.
Here's Schultz. Fired that wrist shot in just wide. Comes up off the boards. Hendricks. Schultz. Snapped it across. Just kept in there by Klefbom. Nice job. Now it comes up to Boma. Can he sneak loose? Nope. And didn't even have a mind to. He just wanted to head to the bench. And was happy to chip it in. Schultz. Fires that puck in deep. Brody there to play it for Calgary, and he will start back. Moves it up ahead. Monahan in over the blue line. Monahan fires one in. The wrist shot skipped wide, and time runs out in period number 2. Shots on goal in the second period. For Calgary, 19. For Edmonton, 17. That's through 2. The score is 2-0. More to come on Hockey Night in Canada.
Sam Bennett was called up by the Flames on Friday, and there was a chance that he could have played tonight. He did get to the hotel about 1 a.m. in the morning. He did skate this morning, dealt with all of the media. On Thursday, he finished his season with the Kingston Frontenacs, who were swept by the North Bay Battalion. He had 3 assists in that series. He's had 11 goals, 13 assists in just 11 regular season games with them. After coming back from shoulder surgery in October, he stayed with the Todd Jensen and family in Calgary during his rehab and worked with Kent Kabalka and Ryan Van Asten as we take a look at Brad Treliving and Brian Burke, who are excited to have Sam Bennett up to learn during this playoff push. Paul?
Good week up. Ryan just having a bite there. It was a great time. Away we go, third period. And a 2-0 lead for Brian Burke's Calgary Flames.
Well, the good thing for Sam Bennett is he has lots of guys in his own age group. You have Sean Monahan's young, Gaudreau's young, Granlund's young. He spent, as Cassie mentioned, much of the year in Calgary rehabbing his shoulder injury, so he's familiar with the group and the dynamic of it. So if he does get into the lineup, he'll be comfortable and be able to play and fit in as well as he can. Better than perhaps a guy just getting called out as junior.
I wonder, Mike, I guess 2 factors, or perhaps more, but 1, he didn't get to bed until 1 o'clock in the morning. 2, do you think if it had been a home game where Calgary has the last change, do you think Hartley might have been a little more amenable to playing him?
That would factor into it for sure.
From the line, Russell fires one in. Wideman couldn't keep it in.
But if you're going to throw him in any game on the road, it would likely be against the Edmonton Oilers. They're not the deepest right now on the defensive end. And if you're going to have him play the last few games, you got to be comfortable with any situation, including on the road against one of the lower end teams in the league.
Russell gets it up around. Jones is looking for it. Kicking into gear is Weidman. Plays it up ahead. Stajan trying to dance his way in and couldn't complete the dance with the puck. Eberle. Hall up there in support. Trying to chip it back to the blue line, but broken up. Jones moved it across. Brody comes in, fades to that corner. Looks around, Coburn jumps up. He's got it now. And then pulled away. And here comes Hall, rabbiting down that right side. Cuts to the middle, and couldn't get the shot away. Raymond. Coburn looking around. Raymond up there to support. Back to Potter. Flashes it across. Schlemko fired one in. That was knocked down on the way through. Schlemko moves it back up. This is Raymond. Chips it around back of the goal. Springer stabbing at it. Comes up here to Potter. Fires a wrist shot through. That was blocked. I believe that may have been Coburn. Delayed penalty coming up. It's going to go against the Oilers. Calgary get the extra attacker out there, but all for naught as Lander touches the puck.
I think it's going to be Keith Ollie for a cross check in front of the net, knocking down Joe Coburn. And right here, leans right into his back, and Coburn goes down. First penalty of the game being called. Ideally, you push him in the hips and not in the upper back, and perhaps he doesn't fall down, but Keith Ollie, a big man, gets him a little too high. And Calgary goes to the power play and can really control this game. They get a third one here.
Calgary 0 for 3 in their last game on the power play. The last 5 games, they've really struggled. 1 for 13 with the man advantage. But they get on the board with that one. Weidman wired it, and it's 3-0.
Quick attack. Don't need to set up any more than you want to. Win a faceoff, which is so key. Little support here. Russell takes in the middle. Weidman opens the one-timer right on the top of the faceoff circle. And you can hear the ping as he goes posting in. Monahan will pick up an assist with that one draw. Good movement, though. Everyone on the same page. And there's no real screen there. They're just trusting Dennis Weidman to shoot, to score, and he does just that. Chris Russell deserves some credit for putting it right where he needed it. Right in the wheelhouse, right spot. 6 seconds into the power play, 3-0 lead Calgary.
And a power play that had been struggling, had been past tense. Weidman having quite a night. He has a goal and 2 assists, the 13th multi-point game of the season for Weidman.
That would be a career high in points.
52 points and a career high.
Goals from the power play by Weidman. The assist, Russell and Monahan.
And you gotta think, he's come a long way from being a healthy scratch. Second game of the year. He's had the A on his jersey some nights. It's been quite a year for Dennis Weidman.
Under tough circumstances, they needed him to step up, and he has in a big way with Giordano going down. Roy tries to get it out in front. Hiller batted that away. So Calgary, death by 1,000 cuts. They got 1 goal in the first period, another one in the second. They add 1 more here in the third.
For those people who weren't with us early in this hockey game, Kari Ramo is being evaluated after leaving the game just 58 seconds in. He left with what seems to be a left side injury. University of Alberta goaltender, their third-string goaltender, Ryan Demharter, is here as a precaution, but no update yet as far as the injury with Kari Ramo.
Well, Hiller has done a sparkling job coming on in relief 58 seconds into the game. And he does have great career numbers against the Oilers. Puck rolls there, and Hiller will hang on to it. And 24 career appearances against Edmonton, 16 wins, 2 shutouts, a 1.98 goals against average.
The situation he's been comfortable in. You look at his numbers when he's come in relief, and they're also very good a couple times that he's done it as of late in Calgary. So that's why goal teams, they want depth everywhere, including in net. And Calgary has had that, 1A, 1B kind of rotation. So they were feeling very comfortable with the fact that Jonas Hiller is available for them as the backup or the start of the rest of the way. If Karlavo's injury was as serious as it appeared to be early on.
Puck fired in there. Good shot from Engelland. And Scrivens will hang on to it.
So lots of scoreboard watching for the teams at the bottom of the playoff race. And it looks like there are 3 teams competing for 2 spots. Calgary, Winnipeg, and Los Angeles. You look at where they're going to be. Winnipeg won today. Calgary, 4 games left, including tonight. And I think it will probably take 97 or maybe 98 to get in. So if you're looking at Calgary, that means 3 wins of their last 4 games. They all play each other. They're all intertwined and will impact how each other do, but it looks like it's going to be 97 to get in, or to have a chance to get in the West, which is an absurdly high number.
This is Brodie. What a job by the schedule maker.
Including Winnipeg and Calgary on the final Saturday of the regular season. A week today could be a play-in game.
It could come right down to that game. Here's Coburn. And knocked away.
What an atmosphere that will be.
Oh. Best building in the league that I've been in this year in terms of atmosphere. Winnipeg, by far. Here's Coburn. Tried to knife it out in front. Right out there was Granlund. And a bit of a circus act there around the crease. Puck comes back out. Fired in, lots of traffic in front off of that shot from Potter. Flames pressing here. Back out to Potter. Works it across. Schlemko. Potter. Potter again. Ready. Set. Shot. Blocked. Dropping down in front of it was Gadsden. Juris. Garland couldn't hang on to it. Juris slips it over and hustles to the bench. Flames on a change. So Flames with 3 goals. 12 of the last 16 games, the Oilers have given up 3 goals or more. They've given up 5 or more 21 times this year. Yakupov moves in, fires that one, and he lost that. It was tipped well up over the glass and into the net.
I heard Kelly and Nick talk about how good that first line for Calgary is once they get in the zone, tight little passes. One thing they do to get in the zone is they like blowing the wingers up high and then punching it back to a guy with some space and now no gap. That's Hoodler blowing the zone, gets it to Monahan, he can skate it in. Again, control play, there goes Hoodler, there goes Gaudreau. They pass it up and then kick it back, and all of a sudden they're gaining the line with control, and then the creativity and passing on the attack, just like that, comes into play.
And moving in, backhand shot from Gaudreau as he cut across the slot. Now he's done it again. Slipping around there, back of the net to Monahan at the side. And the puck cleared up ahead. Knocked down at the line, now chopped in by Ollie. The play would have been offside. Oilers regroup, Flames do likewise. Hoodler. Gingerly guiding it down into that corner. Stajan after it. Wasn't able to win the puck. Now he does. Here's Stajan. Gets it back out there for Jones. Now he'll continue the chase. Works it back. Brodie gets it in. Boma, good chance, and Scrivens was there. Here comes Hall. Moving in. Looks for Eberle. Looks for the trailers. Slides it across. Off the boards, and it comes out. Klefbom couldn't get there. Schultz back over to Klefbom. Here comes Hall. Worked it up ahead. Eberle. Watched there by Backlund. Puck comes there to Brodie. Dropped it back. Coburn moves in. Tried to slide a pass across. Pouliot will send it back up. Marincin up to the line. Knocks it down. Here's Brodie. Brodie worked it up. Backlund getting him over the line. shots in this third period so far, 8-1 in favor of Calgary. Coburn trying to get it out. He does. Coburn gets it there. Backlund in front. Trying to get untangled, so is Fairland.
Fairland leans into it in the pile.
Back in. Miller. Miller looks around. Ollie was up there trying to help him out. Puck coming to Wideman. And he will fire it down the ice. Wideman with a goal and 2 assists tonight. Oh, big turnover there from Scrivens. And Granlund wasn't able to capitalize. Here's Purcell. Purcell tiptoes in, moves up, shoots. He didn't miss by much. The stick melts on him, but nice effort, the old 1-on-5. Back in. Yakupov's in front. Puck comes out, and Yakupov couldn't get to it. Gaudreau plays it ahead. Hoodley. Monahan in front. Big chance for Gaudreau. And Scrivens got in front of it.
That is some exceptional passing in tight spaces. Try that line again.
Tick, tack, toe. Couldn't quite get it to Monahan that time. Here's Hoodler with it. Scrivens out. Bats it back to the corner. Now Klefbom. Worked it up. Hall. Moving it ahead. Churning up there after Musil. Fires it across. Everly to Hall. Looks around. Pouliot jumps up there. He's got it now in the corner. Hall is back at the net. He tried to slide it across to him. Pouliot, a real whirling dervish. Got it loose. Puck moved across. Hall after it. After Everly had that chip shot from out to the left of Hiller. Puck moved up. Boma. Nice little move by Jones right in front of the net. As he walked up there, Stajan was right there too. On the move back, Lander pushing it in, and Hiller is just going to grab it and hang on. The end of a sequence of 3 beautiful passes was a save by Scrivens, point blank on Gaudreau. Back in a moment.
On Wednesday night, find out who hit the jackpot, celebrating success stories on the Dragon's Den season finale, Wednesday at 8 on CBC. Mike?
Offense coming from all different sources for the Calgary Flames, including the defensemen. Look what they have done this year. The 45 goals, very impressive. 190 points. Now, block shots, that could be a little bit misleading, because if you're blocking shots, that probably means you're playing in your own end and don't have the puck, which is part of the reason why Chris Russell has broken a record for most blocks in the history of the league in 1 year. But they are getting it done on the offensive end for sure, including the last 6 weeks without their leader in Mark Giordano.
Here's Purcell trying to work it across in front for Roy. He was knocked down, and the Flames will come back with numbers. Gaudreau in front. Oh, puck wired off the post by Hoodler. Hoodler and Gaudreau were both in front as they came down with Monahan. Back the other way. Yakupov in front, couldn't get a stick on it.
Get over, get over, get over!
Pass comes up here to Coburn. Scrivens. Let it go, Roy. Had it picked away from him by Raymond. This is Raymond with it. Worked it back to the line and got past Englund all the way down the ice. Hiller out to play. Brody gets it up around the boards. Backward. Raymond. Scrivens out to play it to Marincin. Moves it ahead. Here comes Hall. Up to Pouliot. All the way over for Hall. Moves in. Fires it just one. Rebound. And Hall couldn't quite get to it. There's Schultz. Hall. Almost turns it over to Granlund.
Tried it again. He already gave up one breakaway doing that.
Here's Everly. Tried to work it through. Things rather wide open, he said, tongue-in-cheek. And that will be an icing call. 8:15 to go in the third period. Not sure how much Todd Nelson is enjoying the show.
Well, that's what happens late in the game. Edmonton getting a little sloppy. And this is a jailbreak. About a 7-on-1. Only Jonas Hiller's the only guy back. And nice decision by Monahan. Teeing up Wilder. That's a slammer from 20 feet away. Rings it off the bar. Scrimmage got no chance if that hits the inside of the net. But that's what happens. And I've been in these situations with the Oilers. They started well, played good in the first period. But as the game has gone on, they have gotten a little looser. Their youth on the blue line has started to show. And now they're down 3-0. Jonas Hiller still excellent throughout the game, keeping his slate clean. And Bob Hartley taking no chances, has called a timeout after that icing, wanted to rest his group. Get out the whiteboard.
Scoring chances the last 2 periods, Mike, 15-5 in favor of Calgary.
Yeah, and that's what has really plagued Edmonton for years now. And Bob Hartley has just put up another tremendous season. And Colorado, that team was stacked. Atlanta, not so much, but to get to 43, 44, 45 with this team this year in Calgary, he deserves a lot of credit and some Coach of the Year consideration. They can get over the finish line into the playoffs.
Well, we mentioned it off the top of the show, and they are on the verge. They have 21 wins on the road this year, do the Flames. If they win their 22nd tonight, that will tie the franchise record, and that record was set the year that Calgary won the Cup. And that was, in its era, a great team. So to equal that, wow. The old Smythe division, President's Trophy winners, Stanley Cup winners, and 22 wins in the road. Oller plays it up, bounces by Schlemko. That's an icing call on Edmonton. Hey, Mike, were you ever a guy when you played that made much of a difference to you playing at home or on the road?
Well, maybe my rookie year where I think I had the worst ratio of points at home versus the road. I think I had 36 in 41 games at home. I had 11 in 41 games on the road. So apparently it mattered to me. But the rest of my career, I don't think it really did. If you play for a coach that is a strong line matcher, then it matters because it starts to affect your rotations and how he wants to protect guys. But if you're just with a coach that lets guys play, it shouldn't really matter. And the buildings are also similar now, Paul, that there's not a lot of intimidation going into Boston or Buffalo or any of these other buildings beyond the team you're playing.
No, you're so right. There was a time when the buildings were very different, and you mentioned a couple of them. Puck rolled down in front. Boston, Buffalo, Chicago, the old Montreal Forum. But they're all cookie-cutter buildings now. Tough to tell the difference from the players' point of view. Puck chip towards the goal. Big turnover there in front, and not able to take advantage was Matt Fraser. Seal skating over to pick it up. In his NHL debut tonight, gets it in over the line. Coburn with it. And he will start back. Coburn slides it in. And Seal stabs it up along the boards. Fraser. Russell. Over to Wideman. Ball knocked that down. Russell. Wideman with a 3-point night tonight, a goal and 2 assists. He's had 1 4-point night in his career. That was back in 2011. Here comes Hall moving up. Worked it across, Pouliot. All set to unload, and it was blocked. That was a nice job on the back check by Fairland. Puck moved up. Pouliot snipes one in, and that is stopped and held by Hiller. 5:57 to go, third period. More to come from Edmonton on HockeyNet in Canada on CBC.
An LA win tonight would essentially have the Winnipeg Jets on the outside looking in, and that is what happens. What you see there is Marian Gaborit's 26th of the year, 3-1 in a game where the Avalanche only mustered 10 shots. .557 to go here. Flames up 3-0.
Looks like all the teams fighting for that those bottom 2 spots will hold serve tonight. Winnipeg beats Vancouver this afternoon in a wild game. LA's going to win, or has won, and looks like Calgary's going to get their win as well. So on we go. Nothing to be decided. No space between the 3 of them.
Goodrow on the second effort, got it to Hoodler, who bumped it down the ice. Monahan cruising up there.
If you don't think the guys are curious there, the guys at the Flames bench are peeking around the corner and looking and asking you what the scores are on the out-of-town games. They want to know. And they shake their heads when I say, yeah, LA won again. Looking for some help.
Here's Engelland for the Flames. Corner, Scrivens batting at it. Really rolling around. It comes out in front. Big chance. Ferland stepped in. Now he's got it again. Ferland, and then had his pocket picked. Purcell tried to thread it through. Juris back the other way. Juris coming in. Ready towards the goal. Batted away. Russell with it. Granlund gets it back in the net. Ferland trying to twist his way towards the front, and the puck is covered up by Scrivens. 3-0 lead for the Flames. 3-point night for Dennis Weidman. More to come on Hockey Night in Canada. The Budweiser Red Light out-of-town scoreboard, and Calgary Flames battling away here. Winnipeg with a great win earlier today over Vancouver. Ottawa in overtime against Washington. And LA 3-1 winners over Colorado.
LA gave up a grand total of 10 shots in the entire game. So rounding into form.
.444 to go in this one.
But the best part of this week coming up is these teams play each other. Vancouver plays LA, Winnipeg plays Calgary. These teams will have to decide it going up head-to-head, so they will control their own destinies, and what all an athlete can want.
Sharp angle shot there. Hiller kicked it away. It was Schultz who carried it in on the right side, and he's got it again here. Loves to jump up into the rush. Schultz chasing up after him. Hall works it around back. Pouliot looking for it. Puck comes out. Fired on goal, and that is stopped and held by Hiller.
Good save. Hasn't had much to do lately, but he's been really good. Jonas Hiller in relief, and Dennis Weidman has been really good as well. Does a very good job jumping up from the weak side in front of the net. Picks up an assist, a weak goal. Timely pinch. Turns it over to Josh Juris on the second one. And to complete the night, a power play goal, posts and in. And a couple of 3-goal lead. Another nice night for Dennis Weidman.
13th multi-point game of the season. Miller stops that, and as I mentioned, he has the 3-point night, the 7th career 3-point game, and he's only had one 4-point night, and that was a couple of years back, 2011 against the Leafs, I believe.
And it's amazing that he is able to do as much as he can offensively when he's not a great skater. He has straight line speed, and yet he's able to time it perfectly to get up in the rush whenever he needs to, and now has a career high 15 goals this year.
Here comes Derek Roy. Fires a rising wrist shot. Hiller wrestled that down. Roy back in the net. Inside the final 5 minutes of this one. And the Bears mentioning again Hiller with quite a performance coming off the bench 58 seconds into the game when the starter Carey Ramo appeared to strain his left leg or left side of his body for sure. Well, it was his left leg. He couldn't put any weight on it, so he had to be helped off the ice. And Hiller had to pop in off the bench. And what a night he's had. Ferland driving up on that left side. Sharp angle shot is gloved and held by Scrivens.
Wednesday night, find out who hit the jackpot, celebrating success stories on the Dragon's Den season finale, Wednesday at 8 on CBC.
GM of Calgary Flames, Brad Treliving, son of one of the Dragons, who ran the Boston Pizza franchise, so I'm sure he tunes into it religiously.
Icing call there on Edmonton.
Obviously knows something about putting a good team together, because Brad has done just that here, along with all his assistants, Bob Hartley. They've had just a great season of pulling the right strings and getting guys to step up in different ways and believing in each other. Their stats don't bear out that they should be where they are, but yet they are there, and they're right there now, 1 week, 3 games away from getting in the playoffs, which is all that they care about.
It's going to be quite an act to follow next year, both for the Flames and for the Winnipeg Jets. Bar being raised, people will expect another strong season.
I think you look at the Colorado Avalanche last year. They won the Central, and some of their underlying numbers are similar to Calgary's this year. And it looks like Colorado is falling back down to earth. Will miss the playoffs this year. That's where Calgary might have to improve some of their team numbers to give themselves a chance for next year. But next year is next year. It's all about tonight, next game against Arizona, and the last couple to get them in the playoffs.
Schlemko playing it up. And offside as Jones came in over the blue line.
All right. Decision Bureau's in. We're giving Calgary the game tonight. So this is what we have left. Points, the row, which may come into play. And I'm looking at 97 might get you a tie, and then it goes to a tiebreaker. 98, I think, gets you in clean. There's your 4 teams. 3 will make it. 2 out of the Pacific Division, 1 as a wild card. But they all play each other, so still much to be decided here in the last week.
And again, it could all come down to a game between Calgary and Winnipeg a week from tonight in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
With Dustin Byfuglien back into the lineup after his suspension, just to thicken the plot further. Klefbom moves up. Here's Hall. Schultz. Had a couple of great chances on his last shift, did Schultz. Pouliot. And a valiant effort, but not able to keep it in.
Hold on, you got in.
This is Hall. Purcell off the bench and into the play. We'll give chase here along the left side. Engelland got there first and got it away from him. Brody plays it up. Trying to climb his way through. Granlund, Scrivens out to knock it away. Granlund scores! Well, Granlund makes something out of nothing there from a terrible angle.
Smart decision, though, to shoot it right away. Ben Scrivens recognizing that he's got to get out of the net here to track this one down after it gets through Marinchen's legs. Doesn't quite get enough on it. Juris knocks it down, and Granlund just soars from the front, knowing Scrivens is scrambling back, trying to find his net, and he actually banks this one in through his legs, off the post and in. He's looking for Ferland backdoor, but will take the goal. 2 on the night for Marcus Granlund, and he's looking to stay in the lineup as well with Sam Bennett floating around.
Last minute of play in the third period.
Under a minute to go. Granlund gets it. Juris with an assist at 18:52. Station plays it up towards the corner.
Number 86, Josh
Musil to Roy.
52 seconds. Flames goal scored by Granlund.
Played it in over the blue line, no further.
18:52.
Puck drop back. Juris trying to move it across. Juris hacking away at it. Comes up, fired just wide there by Granlund. Rebound comes out. 20 seconds to go. Purcell up to the line, knocked away. And Hiller is poised to pick up his 3rd career shutout against the Oilers. As the final few seconds will tick down, and that is it. #22nd road win of the year, ties the franchise record. backboned by Jonas Hiller's 23rd career shutout. And as I mentioned, his 3rd career shutout against the Oilers, coming on in relief. He had to come off the bench 58 seconds into the game.
Hockey fans, here are tonight's Molson Canadian 3-star.
Jonas Hiller, star number 1, you bet. Outstanding job by Hiller coming off the bench. Dennis Wideman, 3-point night. 13th multi-point night of this season, and Coburn finishes star number 3. He had the goal. Final score, Calgary 4, Edmonton nothing. That's the story tonight in Edmonton.